Hello dear learners, welcome to week 2 and lecture number 6. We will discuss meaning, nature and scope of physical development. And the concepts we are going to cover are, we will introduce the topic, concept and meaning of physical development, different definitions of physical development, nature and scope of physical development. We will conclude, and finally there are certain references. You must study these references for details. Learners, welcome to week 2 of our course Child's Growth and Development. In week 1, we explored the concept, principles and stages of overall growth and development from infancy to adolescence. Now in this week, we will focus specifically on one crucial dimension of development, that is physical development. Physical development, a very important dimension of development which forms the foundation for all other areas such as cognitive, emotional and social growth. You might have noticed that as children grow, their bodies change dramatically from the tiny dependent infant to the active, energetic school child, and finally to the physically maturing adolescent. These physical changes not only influence how children move and play, but also how they think, interact and learn. So, in today's lecture, we will learn about the meaning, nature and scope of physical development, that is, what it is, how it unfolds and why it matters to teachers as well as educators. So, let us see the concept and meaning of physical development. What is physical development? If you think the picture of children's development, then it is essential children develop physically as well as psychologically, because directly or indirectly physical development influences children's behavior. For an example, if children are well developed for their ages, they will able to participate in peer games and sports. If not, they will be handicapped in competitions. Physical development influences attitude towards self as well as others, and also reflected the adjustment process in our environment. Sometimes if your height, body capacity are not stable, then you face the personal inadequacy, your age mates. You may compare yourself with your age mates and feel inferiority complex because maybe you are slow. Therefore, physical development that have an influence on the child's personal and social adjustment. Physical growth does not occur at a regular rate, but rather in periods, in phases or waves of different velocities, sometimes slowly, sometimes very fast. Many studies of growth have shown that there are 4 distinct periods, 2 characterized by slow growth and 2 by rapid growth. During the prenatal period, from conception till delivery, and for the first 6 months of postnatal life, growth is at a rapid rate. By the end of the first postnatal year, growth begins to slow down and is followed by a period of slow and relatively even growth up to the time of puberty or sexual maturing. This may begin at any time between the 8th and 12th years. From then until 15 or 16 years, there is rapid growth, usually called the puberty growth spurt. This is followed by a period of fairly abrupt tapering off to the time of maturity. The height attained in this 4th growth cycle is maintained until old age, but there may be an increase in weight. According to the NCERT module on child development, physical development includes increase in body size, height, weight and proportions, change in bones and muscles, development of nervous and circulatory systems, improvement of motor coordinations, gross and fine motor skills, maturation of sensory and physiological processes. It is important to note that physical development is not merely growth in size, but also includes qualitative improvements such as better control, coordination and endurance. Let's see some of the definitions of physical development. Harlock defined physical development as to the changes. Physical development refers to the changes in the body size, structure, proportions and the functioning of various organs which influence behavior and physical efficiency. Santrock 2018. Physical development involves the biological changes that occur in the body, including growth in size and strength, as well as the development of the brain, sensory capacities and motor skills. J. Anderson 1950. Physical development is the progressive series of changes in the bodily structure and function leading to the attainment of full maturity. Ross in 1959. Physical development is the process by which an individual's body grows and attains maturity in structure as well as function, enabling the person to perform increasingly complex motor activities. Munn. Physical development includes the growth of the body and the development of both gross as well as fine motor skills which help the individual to act effectively in the environment. Havighurst 1953. Physical development is the series of orderly changes in an individual's bodily structure and function from conception through the entire lifespan. WHO World Health Organization 2020. Physical development involves the growth and functional maturation of the body's organs and systems, including the capacity for movement, endurance and health maintenance. Now we will see the nature of physical development. The nature of physical development can be understood through its key characteristics and patterns. Let us explore all these one by one. Physical development is a lifelong process. Physical development begins at conception and continues until death. Although growth slows after maturity, physiological changes, maintenance and decline occur throughout life. According to Burke 2013, development is not limited to childhood but continues across the entire lifespan through two things. One is adaptation, another is aging. Individual differences and gender variations. Although developmental patterns are universal, individual differences exist due to the reasons and we can say factors like heredity, nutrition, health and culture of the family, culture of the society in which the child lives. Generally, girls mature earlier than boys by about 2 years. Cultural practices such as diet or physical play also influence growth. Therefore, educators must consider diversity, both biological and social, when they are assessing physical performance or designing the activities in school curriculum or co-curricular activities, games or sports. Correlation among body systems. Not all body parts grow at the same rate. The nervous system grows fastest in the first 6 years. By age 6, the brain reaches about 90% of adult weight. The lymphatic system peaks around age 12 and then it declines. The reproductive system remains slow until adolescence, when hormonal changes trigger its rapid growth. This pattern is known as asynchronous growth, means not at the same rate. Interaction of heredity and environment. The famous nature nurture debate is clearly seen in physical development. Heredity determines potential like eye color, height range, body type, rate of maturation. Environment influences realization of that potential like nutrition, exercise, healthcare, emotional security and climate. For example, identical twins raised in different environments may vary in height and weight if one receives rich nutrition or better health support. According to Papalia and Martorell 2021, genes set the limits of growth, but environment decides how far within those limits a person will grow. Differentiation and integration of movements. At birth, movements are general and reflexive. Gradually, they become differentiated. They become very specific and skilled, and later integrated, coordinated into complex actions. For example, a newborn's whole body may jerk when startled, a reflex. By age 1, the same child can reach accurately for a toy. He or may she pick the toy. Later, walking, running, and writing involve complex integration of muscles and the senses. Rate of growth varies across stages. The speed of physical growth is not uniform. Rapid growth in prenatal, infancy, and adolescent stages, while it slows during middle childhood and adulthood. Harlock, 1978, points out that these fluctuations are biologically determined and essential for the balanced development of the child and individual. Interrelated with other aspects of development means physical development is interrelated with other aspects of development. Physical growth affects and is affected by cognitive, emotional, and social development. A healthy body supports alertness and concentration, while poor physical health may hinder learning. Burke in 2013 describes development as an integrated process in which physical and psychological aspects they work together, influenced by cultural and socio-economic factors. Cultural practices, dietary habits, and social conditions affect physical development. For example, children in environments with better health care and nutrition grow healthier. Socioeconomic differences often explain variations in height, weight, and motor performance of the child. Directional patterns of growth, cephalocaudal and proximodistal. We have already explained this thing and it applies more on physical development. Two scientific principles describe how the human body develops. One is cephalocaudal and another is proximodistal trend. Cephalocaudal trend is head to tail pattern. Growth begins from the head region and it moves towards downward. That is why infants can hold their head steady before they can sit or walk. This happens because the brain and upper neural centers, they mature earlier than the lower body. And the second trend is proximodistal trend, center to extremities pattern. Growth and control progress from the central axis of the body outward. A baby first controls shoulder and arm movements before wrist and finger control. By the preschool years, this enables fine motor tasks such as buttoning clothes and holding a pencil. These two directions, that is cephalocaudal and proximodistal, together explain why motor control develops systematically from gross to fine. Now we will see what are the dimensions of physical development. Physical development includes several interrelated components. Let's look at them in a structured table. Dimension, description, and we will see examples. First dimension is height and weight. Overall size and growth patterns of the body. And the example we can give, average height and weight increase yearly. Body proportion, changes in the relative size of body parts. Head to body ratio decreases with age. Muscle and bone growth. Strength and coordination improvement. Better posture, stamina, and fine motor control. Organ development. Functional maturity of internal organs of the body. Heart, lungs, brain, and hormonal systems, they mature. Motor skills. Development of movement control like crawling, walking, writing, throwing the toys or balls or any sports things. Physiological functioning. Biological efficiency of body systems. Circulation, digestive and respiratory systems, they improve. Scope of physical development. Dear learners, physical development is not confined to mere changes in height and weight. It encompasses the entire physical organism, from the development of the brain and nervous system to motor coordination, health, nutrition, and even body image and your self-concept. In other words, it is the biological foundation upon which all other aspects of development rest, that is cognitive, social, emotional, and moral. The first scope we can see, growth and structural development. The first and most visible part of physical development is growth. The quantitative increase in body size and structure. It includes height, weight, head and chest circumference, and changes in body proportions. Example, the head to body ratio decreases as a child grows. Growth follows universal patterns such as cephalocaudal, head to toe, and proximodistal, center to periphery, which you already learned. Regular growth charts like those developed by World Health Organization 2020 and ICMR help us track children's physical progress and detect stunting, wasting, or obesity. This structural growth gives the physical capacity that supports further learning and functioning. Second scope is neurological and brain development. Physical development also includes the growth and maturation of the nervous system. During the early years, the brain grows rapidly. By age 5, as we already discussed, it reaches nearly 90% of adult weight. Burke 2018. Processes such as myelination, insulation of nerve fibers, and synaptic pruning, elimination of unused neural connections, improve the speed and efficiency of the nervous system. These changes directly affect motor control, coordination. Once again I am repeating, it directly affects motor control, coordination, sensory processing, and later complex thinking and learning. Here physical development is deeply tied to neurological readiness for intellectual tasks. Sensory and perceptual development. Another important dimension is the refinement of the senses: vision, hearing, touch, taste, and balance, and their coordination with motor activity. For example, hand-eye coordination is essential for writing or playing ball. The vestibular system, inner ear mechanism, supports balance, while the proprioceptive system helps children know where the body is in space. Effective sensory development ensures that children can explore, perceive, and interact safely with their surroundings. Physical fitness, strength, and endurance. Physical development also covers the functional efficiency of body systems: muscular, skeletal, respiratory, circulatory. Strength, flexibility, and endurance develop through daily activity and play. Adequate physical fitness enhances child's posture, stamina, and resistance to fatigue, which are very crucial for school participation. Thus, promoting regular exercise and active play becomes part of supporting physical development. Health, nutrition, and bodily regulation. This is also one of the scope of physical development. The quality of nutrition and general health conditions are integral to physical development. Malnutrition, frequent infections, or lack of sleep can hinder both growth and cognitive functioning of the child. Access to healthcare, immunization, hygiene, and a balanced diet, how well the body systems function. It determines how well the body systems function. WHO's child growth standards emphasize nurturing care, adequate nutrition, responsive caregiving, and safe environments to ensure healthy physical outcomes. Hormonal and pubertal changes. From late childhood onward, the endocrine system begins to influence growth. Hormones like growth hormone, thyroxine, sex hormones like estrogen in girls, testosterone in boys bring dramatic physical transformation during adolescence. These changes include rapid height and weight gain, development of secondary sexual characteristics, and alterations in body composition. These pubertal developments mark the transition from childhood to adulthood and have strong emotional and social implications as well. And the next scope is body awareness, posture, and physical control. Physical development also involves body awareness, knowing where one's body is, how it moves, and how to control it. As coordination improves, children learn balance, posture, and precision. Good posture supports healthy breathing and concentration in classrooms. Teachers should provide opportunities for stretching, movement, ergonomically correct sitting to support this particular domain. Body image and self-concept, another scope of physical development. As children grow, they become aware of their physical appearance, their abilities, their capabilities. Body image, how one perceives their own body, forms an essential part of self-concept. Adolescents may compare themselves with peers or media ideals, affecting confidence. Educators must foster positive body image by celebrating diversity and discouraging appearance-based judgments. Thus, physical development extends beyond physical growth. It influences psychological identity of the child. Another scope is interrelation with other domains. Physical development forms the foundation for every other domain. A healthy, active body supports cognitive performance through improved blood flow, and alertness. Physical maturity influences emotional regulation and social participation. Children who can move confidently are more likely to engage in cooperative play, explore their environment, and they develop problem solving skills. We can conclude this particular lecture of physical development, scope, definitions, and characteristics like physical development forms the biological foundation for all dimensions of human growth, that is cognitive, emotional, social. It is a continuous and multifaceted process that begins from conception and continues throughout life, shaping an individual's capacity for learning, adaptation, and well-being. The scope of physical development extends beyond mere growth in size to include motor coordination, sensory maturation, neural development, and health maintenance. Governmental data such as NFHS and educational policies like National Education Policy 2020 reaffirm that supporting physical growth through nutrition, health care, and school-based physical education is central to human capital development. Educational psychology, and rather we can say explaining learning the concept of growth and development emphasizes that a sound body fosters a sound mind. Thus, teachers, parents, and policy makers must jointly ensure conducive environments for physical growth. Understanding and nurturing physical development is therefore not just a biological necessity but an educational and social responsibility that contributes to holistic and lifelong development. Here are certain references. For details, you must go through these references. Thank you and happy learning.